say the flame to shout, make America great, tell them what it's about. Facts over feelings, cutting through the noise, fighting woke mobs and the kids with toys. They spew their lies, they spreading hate. Let's BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truce to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night.
Hey, it's To The Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.
Hey guys, it's Wednesday night. Normally you'd see Vince and Leo by my side, but tonight we once a month we're going to take a week off because we are going to put some energy into the Conspiracy Club on that second Thursday of the month with John and Joanne. And so this was kind of like an off week, and what I had planned for this week was to share my 35 minutes with Dale and Jim at the Warrior Shield Foundation. And I still want to share some of that. But considering the turn of events today, the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk in Utah, I just felt like it was the right thing to do to go live tonight with John and Joanne, and we can dissect it. We can look at what the media is calling this. I mean, obviously, we've already seen reports. I think the president of MSNBC has already come out and made an apology, but there's social media is pretty sickening. And I think I made the post that I would prefer to shut the internet off for September, but unfortunately, I think the best thing we can do is call a spade and face it head on. So, not a great day. Joanne, how are you doing? John, how's it going?
I'm doing good. Had my tears today for Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'll share this. Like, I'm not a pray for everything kind of guy, you know. I do believe in prayer. I believe it's helped us through some troubling times during pregnancies and family medical emergencies. I think it's there for the good times and the bad. And I felt very compelled today to come home and, you know, and let my kids see that also. It's not something like, we're not very religious. We're very faithful, but not very religious, if that makes any sense. But what do you think, Joanne?
I think, well, you know, I'm kind of angry too, because we just went through a whole presidency of someone that was destroying the nation, putting us in more danger. And none of us went out and tried to assassinate the president or assassinate people that were speaking the rhetoric on his behalf. But here we have a president that's pulling it together, making cities safer. And we've got a young 31-year-old who is sharing his belief in God, sharing his principles, having these dialogues so that people learn. And it's good to do it on college campus to teach them how to talk about these things and to respect each other. People would come up there and show him disrespect, and he kept his cool. He kept his composure. He still talked to them. He didn't hate people. He was a non-violent person. And where is he today? He's assassinated by the hateful, liberal, crazy crowd that's out there cherishing what happened to him. I'm just angry. I'm really upset about it.
John, how did you take it when you first heard Charlie Kirk was shot? Because it was like an hour or two after we got news that he'd passed.
Yeah. You know, I look at it from a couple different perspectives. I mean, obviously, you know, like you said, you know, prayers and thoughts and, you know, that, you know, go along with it. But it goes a lot deeper than this. And, you know, we've talked about this on our TGI Now podcast for the last 2 episodes, that there's Nephilim spirits, there's evil spirits that are on the planet right now. And so the devil knows his time is up, whether you're religious or you're spiritual or whatever. The devil knows his time is up. So there's a reason for why this is happening, to show something. God's using this situation with Charlie to show more evil. And this is what's coming to the surface. And these spirits know that their time is up, and they know that it's coming. They just don't know what it is and when it's going to happen. And so they have to throw everything at humanity to bring humanity into a lower frequency. Like Joanne, you're saying you're angry. You're angry. Yeah, you're angry, but we don't know who did it. So who's there to be angry against? Is it going to be angry because of the liberals are cheering that the guy got killed, or is it angry because they killed somebody that speaks their truth? You have to be careful when you talk about being angry, because they want you to be in that frequency where you're mad, when it could be evil spirits, deep state cabal, Nephilim spirits that did this, and there's a reason for it, and that they want us to get angry. They want us to have a civil war. They want us to fight. Everybody talking about getting their guns ready and all this stuff, and that's not what we need. This is not what this is about. You're going to see what it's about in the coming hours and days ahead, the rest of this week.
Yeah, I thought it was, I mean, obviously tragic. It caught me off guard. By the way, hey Stephen, Duck Butter 69's in the comment section.
Nice.
That's Stephen, who went to Orlando with us this weekend, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, with him getting shot, a little bit of me had hope, and then every video I saw after I first saw the notification come across my phone, it was just like the poor guy. And I agree with you, John. It's like, who are you to be angry with? But I think at the same time, we can look at the overall atmosphere that's been created during times like Obama, Bush, and Biden, and Trump, because it's not getting any better, and it's not gonna. And we just see this divide in America. But no matter where they can drive that wedge, whether it's the black on white crimes in the subways, or the political assassinations in Minnesota, or the Muslims closing down streets in Houston, and now Charlie Kirk's assassination in Utah, they're going to drive that wedge. And I made the comment, I actually forget what my post was, but somebody had replied to my post about, you people think the world is kind and it's just not. Something along the lines of like this was to be expected. And in a way, I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, when I look at it from that perspective, it's, you do put yourself in a situation like he does, and there was a lot of people there. Like, he started out with a little tent, shooting the shit with people.
Crowd.
That was a big crowd there. So like it's getting to the point where he was a sitting duck, because when he was sitting in that tent, that's what it looked like. He looked like a sitting duck. Like, he was sitting there, and it was like, and it was like, that was it. That's it. He's gone in front of all those people, and that causes trauma. So now you have all this trauma being brought onto the planet now. Everybody's upset. People seeing it live in person. It's all over Twitter. So you're building this trauma. So the evil is making the trauma and bringing the vibration of the planet down even more. And that's why stuff like this is happening, because we're in the end days. We're in the end times of what's happening on the planet.
And that's what I said. My initial comment or post was, it's not safe for Christians or conservatives anymore.
Yeah.
You can even throw race in there. I try not to, but it's becoming prevalent that, I mean, there's going to be different battles in this war, and I pray race is not one of them, but it's not safe for Christians or conservatives. And I made the comment that the culture has been possessed. And when I say that, I mean that you have the godless, the moralists, this generation that just thinks everything is fascist. They don't even know what the word means, but everybody is a Hitler and everything is fascist. And those are the ones that are most weak. So somebody had said, it's not possession, meaning it's not like possessed by demons. It's the weak have taken over, and you all think the world is a kind place. I think they're completely wrong. I'm not even sure who they are, but it is a possession, and I think it's a possession of the weak. Satan is not just some amateur, and their game plan is to infiltrate the weak-minded and the weak-willed. And I think this is what we see. That you see that at every Charlie Kirk event. You see these brilliant kids, and they're just they're arguing
You're brainwashed.
They're arguing a ridiculous argument, and they're the weak ones, and they're the ones who are going to be leading our country, leading us in war, leading us out of war, whatever. And I think it's pretty sickening. In the narrative, Joanne, you had said it pretty good too. It's like in one sector of life, it's going to be about gun control. Another sector of life, it's going to be about his stance on abortion and marriage. Another stance is going to be, maybe who knows? I don't know who the actual perpetrator is yet. I do know they have him in custody now, the right person, but there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Like you said, John, who are you to be angry at? Who are we going to, but they're going to tell us.
Oh yeah, they're going to tell us because
they're going to tell us in the 9 o'clock news who to be angry at.
the first headline I saw was, MAGA star, assassinated. He's considered
Extremist.
a
They said
star.
MAGA extremist.
Yeah, well, either way, it's MAGA
Yeah,
star.
it's like-
extremist.
But the people who publish that kind of rhetoric are the ones at fault for this. And it's not just one article, but it's how many have they published over the last 8 years or 12 years like that?
Yeah.
Well, I think what upsets me, and John, I always love how you bring everything into the universe, and you're right, we're in a war of good and evil, and I always believe what you throw out into the universe is what you get back. So thank you for reminding me of that, so that I'm not so angry. But it's the emotion of it, because you know that this is not a violent person. You know that we have freedom of speech in the United States, but we don't have that anymore when you can sit outside and just have a conversation with somebody, and because they're offended by what you're saying, you deserve death. It's really concerning, because we need to have dialogue. We need to be able to talk about things. We need to hear that person's side, because that's how wisdom is developed, by exchanging thought, exchanging ideas, and actually picking up some clues from that person. I always learned something from you, John, and I always learned something from you, Mike, because we're all having that dialogue, and we don't always agree on things. But you can't think that somebody should receive death as a punishment for bringing up a topic you don't like. Just walk off and turn around and leave the area. It's not that bad. But at the same time, Charlie was 31 years old, a young man that was really reaching a large society of young people that are going to be the people to save this nation when it needs saving. So he was a threat.
No, 100%. And you just hit it right on the head, because I always bring it back to, like, even a guy like Bill Cooper. I always bring up Bill Cooper in the book Behold a Pale Horse. He was out there trying to wake people up, and he became a threat because he was telling people the truth. And so they started to watch what he was doing. He was doing a radio show and all those things like that. And then they killed him on his front yard, but it was more low key. They made him out to be this extremist and this militia that just was a threat to democracy, when he was really waking people up. So Charlie was kind of like a modern day Bill Cooper, same way, doing a show, reaching millions of people, so he was doing what he needed to do, and evil doesn't like that. So evil has to shut him up. So they have to find a way to do it, whether it's some deranged lunatic, or it's a compressed special hit by the inside mafia or the CIA or the FBI or whatever. It's evil taking out somebody of truth. I mean, Jesus spoke truth and they killed him too. So I mean, it all goes in that route at some point. Truth will never be. Truth stands on its own. So once it's out there, it can't not be seen anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just surfing the internet to see if I can find any information on the one they have in custody now.
Yeah.
No, I went to Kash Patel's site, and he didn't release the name. So they're kind of keeping it hush hush.
Yeah. Well,
But he should have been the first one to release that name.
This will be interesting because, like I said, this is going to reveal a lot of truth, because God's going to use this scenario, is going to use this situation to shine the light on the darkness. So this could end up going back to the Democratic Party, but whoever did this might be tied to that. And so you're going to see all these different pieces start to play itself together to show the truth. So we're going to see the truth no matter what this time with whoever did this. It ain't going to be some conspiracy and we're never going to find out for 2 years from now. We're going to find out pretty quick.
Well, the mental plague is proliferating everywhere, because Colorado just had a shooting at the high school, at Evergreen High School. The young lady, 23-year-old woman that came to the United States, a Ukrainian refugee, left her war-born country to come here and be safe, and she's no longer with us because of the violence.
Another one,
mental illness. It's
and
all over.
The battle between the spirits. You can't see them; they're all around us, That's the battle that we're facing. And that's why you have to have your head on a swivel. That's why we say stay awake and aware. That girl was sitting on her phone, staring at her phone. She wasn't paying attention to her surroundings. These kids don't want to pay attention to their surroundings. And that's very dangerous.
It is. And that's just it. They walk everywhere and they're just looking down at their phone.
I beep my horn at kids when I see them walking down the street looking at their phone. I beat my horn at them to make them look up, pay attention to your surroundings. That's dangerous. My father always used to tell me that. He's like,
I almost don't want to go anywhere where I'm prevented from caring. Because I'm like, you know what? I'm putting my life in your hands when you're telling me that I can't carry and protect myself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pull it out unless I'm cornered, but I want to be able to have something to protect myself if something happens.
Exactly.
Definitely. And it might be a whole lot easier going forward with that court ruling in Florida today.
Yeah.
That might possibly pave the way for true constitutional carry in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
It was actually a ruling in an appeal decision, but currently the law still stands that we're a concealed carry state here in Florida. But that might change because I think the attorney general even made the comment on X about that it's a ruling that is going to hold a lot of water for the free state of Florida. But when I think about the poor girl in Charlotte, and you wouldn't think. I've been to Charlotte. I know Charlotte's pretty ugly, and in some spots it's very beautiful in some spots. But I never thought of the subway. Coming here from Ukraine, first of all, I can just imagine what the girl saw back there, and to even come here, a new world, a new place, and to travel the subway alone, no matter what city you're in. It takes a lot of balls, but it shouldn't. You should come here feeling safe.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to go to college campus and not worry about somebody sneaking in a sniper rifle either. For anybody, for any type of guest speaker.
Well, I think the worst thing about that is there's no more Daniel Pennies. Nobody wants to jump in and help.
I know you would. I know I would.
But on that subway, the lady in the red shirt that was sitting across from her, there was 4 other people behind her. The 2 that were sitting right across from her looked over when they saw the commotion. Then when when Irina was crying, nobody got up to say, "Are you okay?" Nobody. As a matter of fact, the girl in the red shirt just said, "Whoa, I'm getting the hell out of here." The guy behind her said, "Yeah, I'm getting out too." He was the first to leave. And whoever stayed back there, nobody checked on that young girl to say, "Are you okay?"
Know that she got stabbed? Because I didn't see any blood, and I don't want to watch it again. Another one I don't want to watch again. But
well, you don't see the blood, but you see the commotion.
Yeah.
So if you saw a commotion and you saw a girl squeal, because there's no way she didn't squeal when the guy was stabbing her.
Right.
And if you saw a big burly black guy behind a little white girl and her crying afterwards, you telling me you would just sit there and be like, "Whatever, I'm tired." No, you wouldn't.
Carry a gun.
And those people just sat there and could care less, and they just left her there. So there's no more Daniel Pennies. Daniel Pennies are gone unless you have me, John, Mike, and my husband on the train.
And even then, you have to gauge the situation for your life also.
Yeah.
I can't. I can judge them for not checking on her, but I can't judge them for putting themselves in the way because they may have a family they have to take care of too. But to just see the girl slunched over, she didn't even know. I don't even know if she knew how bad it was because I think it was the same scenario, right? And I think it was just a tragic event. But even everybody watching the guy walk by, he was dripping blood more than she was. So I don't know if he got cut in the mix also. I don't know.
I think that's what it was. I think he cut himself too.
I think it was his hand. He probably gripped where the blade was at too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nobody was suspicious. Everybody was just like, oh, that's messed up. Oh, like still minding their own business,
No.
you know?
Horrible.
But that's what society is coming to. And then you see people on the internet cheering death, cheering the harassment of other people, or you see people getting beat up. It's really disgusting.
Mm.
It
Like
is
when
the
I
fight.
go out alone, I'm like, that's why, like when I went to the Warrior Shield, I was like, do you want to track me? Like if something
Yeah.
happens, I'm not with my husband, and you're like,
Yeah.
hey, Jan didn't come
Yeah,
home,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I know, like when I used to go to the Trump rallies, I would call my friend George Colella and say, hey, are you coming to this rally? I'm here by myself. I'd like to see some familiar faces, and we would hook up.
We got to get George to come next year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that'd be a
he
good idea.
he has gone to Warrior Shield before.
I saw his footage there last year.
Yeah, he
Okay.
said he had to be somewhere else this year. So
Yeah. I've got video of the first guy they were gonna blame. I've
Yeah.
got video of JD Pritzker.
Michael
I just have the video.
The little old guy.
Michael Mallinson.
Yeah.
Let me
is
throw
his
that
name.
up there. Hold on one second. Oh wow, look, we're there.
Yeah. That guy didn't do it.
But it was weird. He was saying, shoot me.
I
shoot
know.
me."
Yeah. It could bring attention to himself.
Well, he's a known political activist. Maybe I don't know. I do believe multiple people were involved. I feel like
Yeah.
Well, first of all, the guy
that's a
that was
horrible video.
the guy that was asking Charlie the questions, he was totally part of that.
Yeah, I never got
When he said
to
great,
really listen to it, but
when he said great, that was the key. The minute he said great, you heard the fire.
Yeah.
and here is some of the rhetoric coming from the left.
Sympathy to Charlie Kirk's family and to Charlie Kirk, who obviously has, become a target for somebody. I don't know whether it's political violence because I don't know who did it. I know they seem to have somebody in custody. But I will say that political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country. We saw the shootings, the killings in Minnesota. We've seen other political violence occur in other states. And I would just say it's got to stop. And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it. We've seen
He's blaming
January
Charlie and the
6th
president.
rioters who clearly,
Believe.
have tripped a new era of political violence.
Unbelievable.
Here
He's
is
He's an
some
idiot, that guy.
more. Here's a
I'm trying to
screenshot.
remember, John, not to let the evil.
I know. You have to. You have to. You have to protect yourself.
This is just one guy from, I think he's an author for one of the left wing newspapers, but this is the kind of rhetoric he puts out there. And it's all anti-Christian. He's accusing Charlie of being a paid mouthpiece to protect a pedophile ring.
Wow.
Talking about he was in on it with Epstein. It just the kind of rhetoric does not help.
No, it doesn't.
And you can say the same about the right.
Yeah.
But can you think of anybody on the left
Look
that
at this
could
guy.
be assassinated tomorrow and the right would celebrate that? I just don't think so.
No, we wouldn't celebrate that at all.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if it was somebody on the left that had been taken out, they would be marching and burning buildings in the street tonight as we
Right.
speak.
Or they already would if it was the other way around in Charlotte.
Yeah.
If it was the white guy stabbing a black girl. What else do I have here? I've got the tribute. I think Fox News put out 1993.
I know,
Charlie
right?
Kirk is being remembered tonight as a hugely influential, charismatic, and engaging individual committed to civil discourse and the open exchange of ideas. Correspondent Mark Meredith looks back at the life of Charlie Kirk. Good evening, Mark.
Brett, good evening to you. Charlie Kirk's death is being called a watershed moment or even a turning point for the country. The 31-year-old political activist had a massive following, both online and in the corridors of power here in Washington. Before becoming a household name in conservative politics, Charlie Kirk was a teenager growing up in the Chicago suburbs. He told the Daily Caller in 2019 he knew early on politics mattered.
I was always naturally conservative, loved America, loved the values that our country stood for, and I never understood why you'd want to deviate from that.
Kirk thought he'd end up at West Point, the Army's military academy, but after being denied admission, he chose to start something for himself.
It's that old adage, one door closes, another door opens. Of course, it's correct.
In summer 2012, Turning Point USA was born. What started small later became a political juggernaut, a conservative youth activist organization now operating on 3,500 high school and college campuses. Kirk explained what drove him in his first Fox appearance 13 years ago.
A lot of kids are feeling the effects of what we like to call, with the Washington economy, with a lot of debt, plummeting small business, with higher regulation and high taxes.
As the Tea Party movement evolved, Turning Point USA grew. So did its influence. The AP writing Turning Point events became more ornate, taking on a nightclub atmosphere with strobe lights, pyrotechnics, and thousands of young conservatives in attendance. Kirk endorsed then-candidate Donald Trump in 2016 and later worked to re-elect him in 2020.
I believe it's imperative we get the president reelected. In fact, I think he's going to get reelected.
As Trump later regrouped for 2024, Kirk continued to build an empire and a family. He married his wife, Erica, in 2021 and later became a dad of 2. Trump himself thanked Kirk for staying loyal amid a year of chaos.
And I want to express my tremendous gratitude to Charlie Kirk. He's really an amazing guy.
With Trump now back in power, Kirk remained active, speaking out constantly about the conservative movement.
There's a revival happening in this country right now.
Tonight, tributes continue to pour in for a man many believe helped change the course of U.S. political history. And those tributes continue to pour in from all over the world. Late today, we heard from...
Yeah, it's just maybe not a lot of people know the name, but a lot of people have seen his videos. If you're in any type of young Republican or young conservative or young Christian group, you definitely know the name Charlie Kirk. And it's just, it's amazing that he was only, what, Joanne, 31?
31 years old.
And he accomplished what he did. I kind of, like, when I realized who it was and I put 2 and 2 together a year or 2 ago, I was like, wow, man, he's already accomplished this much. And back then he was only in his 20s. I think during the last cycle, I think he was 27 or something like that. But it is amazing. And everything he did, he put Jesus first. And I can rest easy for him knowing that. For his young wife and daughter, it's just I couldn't fathom that.
Good. I thought they were getting ready to have a third child.
Was it a 3? Oh, you might be right.
I thought she was pregnant right now.
Oh God.
I could be wrong, but that's what I heard.
How ironic though that his whole organization is called Turning Point USA, and that anchor on that video said that because this is a turning point in our country. Like, how ironic. And like I said before, God's using this situation as a turning point. There's a turning point happening now. It's not a coincidence that his organization is called Turning Point USA. So it's
exactly.
Yeah,
he's a Gen Zer, right?
It's not a coincidence. No, exactly. This is gonna build a revival of the younger generation, and they're gonna start seeing the truth when they find out what really happened and who did this. Because you're gonna find out soon. It's not gonna be take forever. You're gonna find out quick. Yeah.
Let me hold on.
We're gonna find
throw
out
this
quick.
up. We thought maybe they had somebody, but according to Kash Patel's X account, they interrogated that suspect and released him.
Interesting. Okay.
There's still a trained there's still a trained sniper out there on the loose.
Yeah. No, there's just somebody out there that did this, and they better find out who it is. We're gonna find out. It's gonna come to light quick. It has to. It's not gonna drag out. They're gonna find out who did this.
The subject in custody has been released after an interrogation by law. Man.
Yeah, our investigation continues, and we will continue to release information in interest of transparency.
Now, you did see that some guys videoed the shooter on the roof before it happened. They were pointing and they said, there's a guy on that roof, and he just ran from that corner to that corner. And then they showed a video footage of everybody's head going down like it was after the shooting. And then they show a person on the roof.
Yeah, I
right
saw
back.
that.
Yeah, like I said, I watched it from 5 different angles, and every angle that came to my phone after the other was worse than the one before. And it was just like, it's burned in my head. And just like the poor girl on the subway, and the other woman in the subway in New York that got burned alive, those images stick with you, man. And then it's good to see it. Like, I'm not saying it's good to see it, but you have to put it out there because there are some people who need to see it.
They need
Like
to know the reality of what's happening.
You need to know that evil is out there, man. There is no sense. This was another senseless murder, probably from some wacko on the left or some drugged up wacko on the right. Because the way they medicate the kids and the adults and the veterans these days, we've learned about that over the weekend. We've learned about it talking with Kelly O'Mara and Sheila Matthews. The overprescribing of these psychedelics and the psychotropics are screwing with people from young ages all the way up to older ages, and it's just horrible. Let me pull this up here. Stephen commented, "It's an absolute tragedy, and we need to stop all this letting people go after they've been in jail multiple times. I'm sure this guy is another mentally ill person who should have been locked up." Well, the guy in Charlotte had 14 prior arrests, each time let go by a judge who never held a law degree, never passed a bar exam, pretty much just hired as a judge. You remember the show Night Court?
Yeah.
Well, that's how they do shit in those cities where they just, we need you to sit on the bench tonight. It's like, here, you got the job, you got the job, you got the job. But what was ironic
you don't need
was
a license to be a judge.
no, not in that area, not in this particular state.
Wow,
It's not a federal court or nothing like that. It's like a local magistrate. But if you think about it, 120 years ago, a notary republic would decide the same thing. It was considered a magistrate or a justice of the peace. But yeah, this. But yeah, but right now you can notarize papers and marry people. Back then, you could have sent somebody to jail or put them on the chain gang. But this guy had 14 prior arrests and let go by this no experienced judge who just so happened to have an owning interest in a mental illness care facility where she probably released a lot of these kinds of people to the care of, where she makes money. It's kind of like a pay to play type justice system. You see it in other areas of corrections and stuff like that. But so again, they need to go after the people who keep letting them go. What's this other comment? These people are sick. The Democrat mindset needs to be addressed. And it does. I think the rhetoric, I don't think it's ever going to change, though. I think it's going to spill over.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see fire. And I thought about that. Like, would another 9/11 bring us together? At this point, I'm not sure. They're going to blame Trump.
Well,
They're going to blame Trump for it. That's not going to bring anybody together. Not that I'm saying we need something like that to bring us together. It just, it's only going to get worse. But if you're watching at home, yep. If you're watching at home, make sure you give us a like, drop a comment, even if you don't have anything you want to say. Let us know where you're watching from. Right now, we're streaming live on all the To The Point podcast channels, except for a few of the minor ones. But we're also on Indian River Connections, IRC Media. We're on Binford Chronicles and TGI Now Podcast X. So if you're watching on any of those platforms, give us a thumbs up and drop a comment. We will definitely share your thoughts, and we appreciate you tuning in. John, you were just about to segue us into tomorrow night.
Yeah, so tomorrow night, if you're local, come on down to Filthy's in Vero Beach, Florida. We're going to do our third Conspiracy Club 101 meeting / live remote podcast. So come on down, or even tune in live. We'll be going live probably around 7:00. So
definitely tune in live if you're not local, for sure.
Yeah. But if you're local, come down. There's a lot of good people, a lot of good people, like-minded people that that just want to have a conversation about what's going on, and and whatever conspiracies or whatever you want to talk about. Where any subject is fair game. So.
Yeah, and if you stay after the show, you can sing karaoke.
Right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, from 6 to 9.
They do karaoke after
9, and the karaoke we roll out and karaoke rolls in. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a good group of people. So yeah, definitely come down and check it out, or tune in live.
Yeah, and that one we stream to. It's got its own Rumble channel now, but we'll probably pump it out to the X channels like we did the last 2 times to try to get more people.
Yeah.
To reach more people, but yeah, definitely tune in.
X and YouTube. Yeah.
So I saw some comments on Facebook. Obviously, 9/11.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of talk about that, and some people mentioned Bigfoot.
Yep.
Right, Bigfoot and
Bigfoot.
Yeah, there's somebody wants to talk about Bigfoot.
Yeah, and then probably do some. I'm sure we'll do some flat Earth because Joe Antonelli loves to do flat Earth, so he wants to talk about that. So we'll get into that too. So there'll be a couple good. I'm sure there'll be a lot of good subjects.
Yeah, I think the flat Earth is probably going to be like. I think we could probably do a whole hour.
Just do a whole show. I know, right? Yeah.
Especially if Nick's there, and got to get Nate Swaggart in there. If you're local, you might know who some of these people are, but if you're not,
I reached out to Nate. I told Nate about it. I don't think he can make it, but I told him to tune in, and a couple more people. So yeah, we had a good response on Facebook. So it's definitely growing. That's for sure.
Definitely, I'm glad to be a part of it. It's a lot of fun.
It's fun.
And speaking of a lot of fun, over the weekend, Joanne and I were able to go to the Warrior Shield weekend, the Hero Fest. They do a whole weekend, but I only went for the concert.
Mm-hmm.
And Joanne, what did you think about that? You got there early Friday morning, right, and scoped out the
yeah, and it was awesome. They let me check in early, and because I checked in early, my room wasn't ready, so I got a really nice room. Yeah, but the Hero Fest was awesome. It's really amazing. Everybody volunteers. Now, this is a kind of nonprofit that I love to support. Why? Because they're not taking money from big corporations. They're not paying themselves, is what I'm saying. They're not paying themselves like these big $100,000 fees. They're all doing it for free. And they come from different states, like the motorcycle group that came down. One was from Tennessee, one was from Washington. They came from all these different states, and they volunteer their time. And then they had who's the coffee guy? Grit Gear.
Lock and Load Coffee and Grit Gear. Rich and Sharon. Yep.
Yeah, they donated all of the t-shirts that they make and sell. They donated all of that towards the event. They donated the coffee that went in the bags. And that's so that all the money that's raised goes to the sponsor that they're running the event for. And all the bands that came into town, some of them just stayed overnight. They came from another state. One band came from Ohio just to spend the night and play all night and work all night. And they were rocking it, man. I was up there dancing. I was having a good time.
It was a good time, yeah.
It was a great event.
Yeah, I'm glad I went. Next time I'm going to go early and I'm going to stay. And I definitely, now that we've been, we were on board with promoting them before, and now that we've been, I'll definitely promote them going forward, because I think they can use some help with the reach and getting more of the word out there that this benefits veterans. It's not just for veterans to go to, but this is a benefit to raise money for the veterans, and they were
first responders.
Yeah, So the Warrior Shield Foundation, yeah, and first responders. Warrior Shield Foundation, I think, has like just a few board members. None of them take a salary. Rich from Grit Gear is the treasurer, and Chance Showell is
The event coordinator, right?
yeah, he runs the whole thing. He does the whole. I think he founded the group. I don't know what his technical position is in the on the board, but he's really, that's the first time I met him in person, any of them in person, and he definitely is in it for these guys. In attendance, the guest of honors was John Teagan, and I can't remember his whole name, but they call him Boom. And they were survivors from Benghazi. Colonel Gadsden, who was a double amputee, and also an actor. Last role he played was on Battleship. And then I'm going to get their names wrong, but they had a mom from Flight 193 there. Corporal Chad O's mom was a guest of honor, and that's who this benefit this past year was for, was to raise money for the Corporal Chad O Foundation for PTSD. And hearing the story of Corporal Chad O and what some of these guys go through, it's sad that, I mean, it's not sad. Everything is sad about it, but like it's time to move on for Warrior Shield. So every year they pick another charity or another veteran or first responder based charity to throw their weight behind. So next year I saw they voted on it Sunday, I believe it was, and they decided to go with the Border Patrol Foundation. I don't know anything about them. If somebody wants to Google it and share some information, I'm sure it's well, I know it's been highly vetted by the guys at Warrior Shield, and I look forward to next year. I hope it's in Orlando again. So far, it's been in Orlando every year. Just hope it's at the Rosin Center also. I believe they're going through a change in management there at the resort or at the convention center. So we'll see what happens. And Steven, so I went and brought Elisa, my fiance or my wife, however you want to look at it. Our friends Steven and Jamie came. Joanne, I met you there, and it was the first time I got to meet Dale and Jim from Two Guys in One Coup. If you don't watch Dale and Jim, their shows on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10:30 to 12. They're going to start a sports show on Thursdays, I think, at 5. Nice. Which I don't really do the sports, but tune into those guys. I forget what it's called, but I'll definitely share it for our sports fans. But I built a rapport with them over the last year or two since starting the podcast, and I saw them through a Moms for Liberty group on Facebook, and I just tuned in, and it's kind of like you get to know them, but there's a screen behind, between you, and through comments and text, whatever. That's cool. And then those guys coerced us to go over to the Patriots Prayer Network, which was fun, and it was an experience. We learned a lot, and at To The Point, and it was just ironic that we decided to leave the Patriots Prayer Network at the same time. Those guys went over to FuryCast Network, and we just put our full weight of IRC media behind it. So, but we remain partners and friends, and I helped them out. They helped me out. We share contacts and stuff like that. So getting to meet those guys for the first time in person was pretty cool. And it was like meeting brothers that you haven't seen for a while, because it was a real genuine people too. It was like
very warm-hearted people,
everybody
family
there,
type people.
Joanne, you got to sit down with them for 20 or 30 minutes on day one, and I have a segment I'm going to share probably later in the week that I sat down with them, but I've got a short one I'll share with them. But before I do that, I just felt like everybody there was there to support each other. I'm just a spectator, we weren't there to really do anything, but just to see how they welcomed each other and us. It was it was an awesome feeling. I wish there was more people there. They had the music lineup for me, what just like sealed the deal. They had a Chili Pepper spin-off band, a cover band called Sound Forge. They did really good. It wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but they did pretty good. Then there was Natasha Owens. Look her up. I think on Facebook she's Natasha Owens Music. She does a lot of political music.
Political songs. They were great.
Original, great videos behind it too. She sings the national anthem at Mar-a-Lago. Well, she has multiple times. So she's had the president's audience for a long time now. She's really great. Then it went into Sean Holcomb and John Z. Well, Sean Holcomb and John Z. Sean Holcomb was the guitarist and vocalist, and John Z was the guy on the violin or the fiddle, yeah. And both of those guys, I mean, just Sean Holcomb started out with some Soggy Bottom Boys and quickly transitioned it into, I think it was White Lightning. It was a weird mix-up, but with this country guy's twist to it, I was
went
like,
down to Georgia, right?
yeah. The later in the night, they did "Devil Went Down to Georgia," and John Z just killed it, man. Like
He did.
I get the chills when I watch that kind of instrument and that music, and it's just like he just killed it on the violin, you know. And then after him, it was Ryan Weaver.
Yes.
Ryan Weaver, who I didn't get
to
meet him, but he's got some energy, man. I don't know how that dude bounces around all
He
the
did a
place.
Soundgarden song that I loved.
Yeah, he's a good artist, but I think they nailed it with Bo Bice as the headliner. If you're old like us, you might remember Bo Bice from the second season of American Idol, which was like, I don't know, probably like 25 years ago now.
It was a while. It was about 20 years.
Yeah, he was the runner-up to Carrie Underwood, and he probably should have won because, I mean, his voice and his energy, he reminds me of this old guy I work with. Not that he's old, but it's just like he didn't look like his Google pictures, that's for sure, because they're 25 years old. And but when you run into this guy in the lobby of this convention center, he was just down to earth.
Spoken, like you don't think he's got all that energy on stage, and he's like,
he was just fixing to go to the pool. He just had breakfast. I didn't know it, but they just pretty much pulled an all-nighter during an after party at a hotel room. But yeah, and his energy on the stage, you would not know, man. That dude rocked it. I thought the music was pretty great, and he has done it the past 2 years in a row, and he tells a story that he tells Chance every year. If you want me to fold shirts next year, I'll come and fold shirts. If you want me to sing, I'll sing. He's like, if you want me to bartend, I'll bartend. He's like, but I'm coming next year. So it's the sense of family. It's encouraging. A lot of them don't like, I never served. Dale and Jim, they haven't served. I know Bo Bice hasn't served. You know, I know a lot of them there didn't serve, but a lot of them did. So it was a really great weekend. Let me share my little clip. I don't really share my stuff, but let me find, where is my scene now? Hold on here. I'm packed up, ready for tomorrow night. That's why everything is a mess here. On Facebook that really don't partake in the whole social construct. And when I saw them sharing videos of Jennifer Pippin from Moms for Liberty, reading from the books with all the porn in it, and I realized that was my area, so I started going to some of the meetings, and I met a couple guys that do the TGI Now podcast, and we hooked up, and then I met Joanne Binford, who was running for county commission at the time. So it encouraged us to do our own, actually kick off our own podcast, and we talk a lot about politics, headlines and stuff like that.
Sure.
So we started on Spotify. We evolved like drugs do in video, and we did video, and then I got TGI Now on video. I come across Joanne doing X Spaces, so I helped her do some X Spaces. We involved that to video, and it got to a point where the stuff it's not cheap.
No.
And you want to be able to help as many people as you can.
You do.
Yeah,
good.
it's not
That was
not
a
cheap.
funny interview. I was
That's good.
cracking up when I was listening to you guys. You guys
Yeah.
made good, great comments that were really
I-
fun.
It's so funny that you're like, you go, and it got to the point where, you know, like you even had, like it even just came full circles. Like I met Joanne, I met John, and then
It
it got
was
to
a
the point where we were just like,
it was a great interview. I had a blast. I'm gonna post it because they did a long day, both days, and I want to share the interview because those guys are great, and we had a lot of fun. And Steven or Duck, by the way, if you're on Twitch or X or any of the other platforms, follow Steven. I hate saying this, but Duck Butta 69. If you're into the gaming, streaming, and stuff like that, give him a follow, anyways. But there was a pony convention down the hall, and it was odd. I
Well-
first went into the place. We got there a little late because we had to take care of some stuff during the day, and I had doctors and all that. But we walked into the lobby. Once we checked in, we turned the corner, and I'm like, "What? There's furries everywhere. There's
Little ponies.
people with ears on, and then they got like
Guys with dresses on.
My Little Pony stuffed animals, dudes with dresses and beards, and it was like, what the hell? I text Dale and Jim. I'm like, what the F is up with all the furries?
yeah.
And I think it was Jim. He was like, yeah, we were gonna wait till you got here to let you know. But it was crazy. There was thousands of them, and
They
it
were
turns
raising
out
money, man.
they were. And it turns out there is like the My Little Pony show. If you got daughters or something like that, you might see it. And there was a spinoff for Minty the pony who didn't get enough attention. So the
Jealous.
online narrative was Minty turned evil. So it turned into this online community, and it blew up this whole narrative. I to be honest with you, I already know too much, but it was very interesting.
It's very odd.
You get in the elevator with them, and they might not have brought deodorant with them. You can tell. It was.
No
it
kidding.
was.
You know, you're being nice. The whole lobby where they were congregating, lining up, changed the smell. Like we were in our section, and you could. It was like if it had a color, you would see it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
they all just got up without a shower.
Yes, and it was just. I think Dale got to talk to one of them that just got married that weekend, and he was wearing his dress still. Jim wanted to say it was about 20% women, but I think it was more like 5% women there. Maybe an extra 15% dudes that were dressed like women. No kid. It wasn't for kids. It's not a children's event at all.
It doesn't
to be
have
honest
to be a children's event because the maturity level was still
right.
teen, like
Right.
teenagers.
Right. And
When you
one
talk-
of the
It's weird.
one of the guys come over to ask about the Warrior Shield Foundation, and he seemed very interested. And it turns out he was one of the coordinators of they call it the Mare Fair. And it turns out the money they raise supports a horse rescue somewhere in Central Florida, I think. I'm not actually sure where, but it'll fund this horse rescue for a whole year. So they do good with the money.
Yeah, right.
But it's like some of those stuffed animals were custom made by some of those people there, and they were selling for thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Thousands of dollars, but yet these dudes probably still live in the basement of their parents' house.
Right.
Maybe that's why they can afford it. But
I guess.
Yeah, I was totally impressed with how many of them were there raising money for a great cause. It was just very odd atmosphere, and I mean, I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt and talk with them, and the mentality, it seems like they reached a certain age and they didn't grow up.
Yeah.
Like when you were having that conversation.
I'm going to make the assumption that these are the same people who will go to the Star Trek convention dressed up also.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not their only fascination. They probably consume their lives with this cosplay type culture, which is completely weird to me. But
They got to be like,
Very
there's got to be
popular,
some of
very
them I
lucrative.
figured were like computer geeks that played games all day long. That's
Yeah.
that's the impression I got.
Well, who knows? Who knows how many of them are teachers? Elementary school,
That's
you never
scary.
know, right?
Yeah.
Because some of them are just normal dudes. We had a conversation with a dad of somebody there, and he was not normal, but he was probably one of the normal ones. And he was bragging about how his son is probably one of the only few that you can hold a conversation with. Meanwhile, I had a conversation with this guy for an hour, and that's because he wouldn't shut up. And he was a great guy, but it was just he felt like he would be more welcomed over at the Warrior Shield Foundation because they heard the concert the night before, and it was just like it was almost embarrassing the amount of people they got to show up there. But at the Warrior Shield, it just wasn't
like a third of the people.
right. It was less than that.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was still probably I don't know. I want to be conservative and say a couple hundred for the Warrior Shield, but there should have been 1,000 people there.
Yeah, right.
And I the only thing I can offer them is what we do here, and that's promote them. So now that we know what the objective is next year, I ask you guys to share their videos and share their cause too, and hopefully we can bring some people with us next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
good overall.
we can prepare for it because when I was talking to them, it's always either the week before 9/11 or the week after 9/11.
Okay.
Well, I think it's going to be the week of 9/11 again.
Oh wow.
I think next year
9/11 next year falls on the same day as this year. I looked it up.
Oh wow.
oh, okay.
It's the following year where 9/11 actually falls on, I think, a Friday or a Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget. I thought I heard today that 9/11 is a Friday next year. Yeah, it's the Friday.
Okay.
So I believe I heard today that that's the weekend they're doing it.
Okay.
Oh, really?
It might be difficult, but I think it would hopefully it helps raise money for the Border Patrol Foundation, which next time I'm on air, I hope to be able to tell you more about it.
Cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because they'll have a new sponsor for next year. Well, you already said who the sponsor is, right?
Yep.
That's the I pulled it up, the Border Patrol Foundation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any information on them?
It
Mission
says
or-
the mission. Well, the mission of Border Patrol Foundation (BPF) is to honor the memory of fallen U.S. Border Patrol agents and provide support and resources to the families. PBF provides support to Border Patrol employees, USBP agents, and their families. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on.
You're good.
For on and off duty deaths, injury, illnesses, family medical emergencies, special circumstances, and student scholarships.
Yeah. So another great cause.
Yeah, and student scholarships for more Border Patrol people,
Yeah, that's great. No, that's good. We'll prepare for it more next year. Well, yeah, now you guys got a lay of the land, so you know what it's all about. You know what you're dealing with. So now we can get a good idea of how we can do more.
Yeah, if they have it at the Rosen Hotel, I would love to go back there and get another nice room. And I like the parking outside in the back. Like my truck wouldn't fit in the garage. I went to pull up and those things were like at my windshield. I was like, I didn't know my truck was that high. Ooh, I'm cool. But but I parked right outside and it was just across from where the Warrior Shield was set up. So it was like, I just had to make a long walk to my room to the front, but I was okay with that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I thought the place was pretty great. They had good restaurants. It wasn't cheap, but the room was, and maybe that's because of the organization we were with. But
they got like a special rate, so it was very affordable. And the restaurant, I went and ate dinner at it the night that you guys came. I ate an early dinner and it was only $20, but they had salmon, they had pork loins, they had flat steak, whatever that is. Then they had some vegetable stuff, and then they had a big, huge salad bar. They had a soup bar. So I just stuck with the salmon and the fresh vegetables. I was like, well, damn, it's I got a pretty good meal here for $20, and a drink and dessert. So I could have ate all night if I wanted to.
Nice.
I had a really good time. I hope it's there too. I do know Mr. Rosin passed away, so now they're going through management change. So hopefully nothing changes. Hopefully it's in Florida again because podcasting doesn't pay.
Yeah, right.
And I'd like to be able to go, but we've got some people watching. I'm gonna wrap it up. We're right at an hour. Time for bed. But if you're watching at home, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. StreamYard's being a little glitchy right now, so you can't really see what's going on. But share the show. Look out for tomorrow's Conspiracy Club 101 broadcast.
Yep.
Friday night, if you're also local, you might want to tune into the Board Report, where we will have Taylor Dingle, a Vero Beach City Council member, on the Board Report to answer for his campaign and the City Council. And then after that, I believe we're going to be talking more about how counties budget for sheriff's departments.
Yeah.
So great stuff local, boring stuff if you're not, but a lot of it, it's all translates local wherever you are. So make sure you tune in, give us a follow, like and subscribe. If you're watching on TGI Now and Binford Chronicles, share the show, like it. Make sure you it's the only way we're going to get our word out, and it's the only thing that keeps us going.
That's it.
Right?
In honor of Charlie Kirk, let's keep going.
Yes.
Yeah,
and,
right. Put down Warrior Shield for next year, September, around 9/11, week 9/11.
Yep. We're going to keep talking about it till you're tired of hearing it. So
cool.
Either you give us $50 or you give us $50 and come.
Yeah, right.
So, not us, but them. Anyways.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys jumping in. Vince is on his way to Georgia.
Yep.
And Leo is home with the family, so I didn't make anybody come out. So
it worked out good.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys jumping in, and of course, keep Charlie Kirk and his family in your prayers if that's your kind of thing.
Yep.
And
just keep your head on a swivel.
Stay safe on there. Yep, like John said, keep your head on a swivel.
You got to.
All right, I am gonna throw, since I'm not prepared, I'm gonna use the Warrior Shield promo for our outro. So we will catch you guys next time.
All right. Good night.
Cool. All right, guys.
Warrior Shield Foundation is here to unite, honor, and provide support for veterans, first responders, and Gold Star family members. The foundation will enable them to find the help they need through direct assistance or by connecting them with our shared vision network. Using data-driven models, we provide solutions that make a long-lasting difference. We, along with our partners, are dedicated to bringing together like-minded groups and individuals who have committed to making a difference in the lives of our hardworking, everyday heroes. We bridge the gap by connecting warriors or their families with the assistance they deserve and require, such as service dogs, wheelchairs, counseling, scholarships, and team building retreats, to name a few. You can help right now to make a difference for those who have helped and protected us all. Warrior Shield Foundation, selflessly doing for those who need it most.
It's a long way to home, but you won't take the hard road all alone. Just look to your left and look to your right. You were born to fight.